Good evening, everybody. My name is Murph. Welcome here to the Prog Monster, a channel dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. We're here Monday night to do a look back at a classic rock album, an album that I initially didn't like much. I bought it basically because somebody suggested it, and also the artwork is fantastic on it. We're talking about Caravans in the Land of Gray and Pink. Yes, look at this artwork. It's so detailed. Such a good, absolutely, almost a science fiction feel to it. Almost a Lord of the Rings type feel. Well, maybe not Lord of the Rings. I might be exaggerating that a bit. Actually, it kind of reminds me a little bit more of the Pink Panther shows from the 1970s. The cartoon ones, not the movie. So yeah, absolutely killer album cover, but at first I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of weird. I didn't like some of the lyrical parts to it, but then it just really took off for me, and it's currently my favorite album in my playlist. Probably my favorite album right now. I would have to say it's probably my favorite album. So it was released April the 8th, 1971, recorded at Air Studios and Decca Studios in London, England. It's about 43 and a half minutes in length. On the Darren record label, you can see that right up here in the top corner. If you look right there, Darren record label, and produced by David Hitchcock. So appearing as members of Caravan at this point in time, this is their second studio album. Richard St. Clair, bass, acoustic guitar, and vocals, lead vocals. Pi Hastings, electric and acoustic guitars, and lead vocals on not as many tracks. Pretty much the dominant singer here is Richard. Dave Sinclair, Hammond organ, piano, mellotron, and Hammond vocals. Harmony vocals. And then you also have Richard Coughlin playing drums and percussion. In addition to them, you have bits and pieces filled in by three other musicians: Jimmy Hastings, flute, tenor sax, and piccolo. Dave Grinstein makes noises, cannon, bell, wind. And then you got John Beecham on trombone on the Gulf Girl, which is mostly the most dominant part of that particular track. So Gulf Girl was my inroads to them. Liked it quite a bit for a few months, and then all of a sudden the rest of the album took off. This is still probably my favorite track. It's got some real quirky sounds to it. A very tongue-in-cheek type feel to it, almost a Monty Python feel, but maybe not as much of that as you would maybe guess it might have. Trombone, of course, is the dominant statement on here. Very catchy melody. The vocals are clear and kind of tongue-in-cheeky as well, and the lyrics are very clever but a little bit odd. So yeah, probably my favorite track on the album. I just like the melody and the storyline, to be honest. Winter Wine is next up. It's a longer track, about 7, almost 8 minutes in length. Opens up with an acoustic guitar opening. Vocals are very folky but very clear as well. The harmonies are catchy on this song. Heavy part is catchy as well. Lots of interesting soundscape going on here. Organ keyboard part is especially good. With a real psychedelic flair to this song. It's probably the most psychedelic one on the album, although the album cover and some of the other songs definitely have that kind of psychedelic feel to them. Next up is Love to Love You, and Tonight Pigs Will Fly. Yeah, another tongue-in-cheeky kind of feel to it. Catchy riff and melody, a bit of an early Who feel to the song. So the song sounds like it could be something the Who did early on in their career, like in the early 60s. I definitely have that feel to it for sure. Quirky but very catchy song. The vocals are catchy as well. So this is a particularly strong track. I like this pretty up at the top there. The next song, which is the title track, The Land of Gray and Pink. Another really good song. Another one of my favorites. To be honest, they're all great. The only one that was a little bit weaker was Winter Wine, but not terribly much weaker. Everything was really strong. This is a catchy but quirky again. You got a little bit more of that going on. Some very similar Golf Girl-like vocals on this. This track is actually the one that I think is most like that track. The song has this kind of a heavy bass part to it. Fantastic beat and melody, and a real catchy feel to it. Like the whole album is just really got that catchy feel to it. And then it ends off with the epic, which really is kind of strange. A band like this making an epic, it's really weird the way it just came out. So it has 8 suites in total. The song is called 9 Feet Underground, but then you have 8 suites, including Nigel Blows a Tune, Love's a Friend, Make It 76, Dance of the 7 Paper Hankies, Hold Grand by the Nose, Hold Granddad by the Nose, Honest I Did, Disassociation, and 100% Proof. Yeah, so you can see they're just kind of really quirky with the lyrics and the titles of everything. Absolutely killer. This song has a lot of keyboards, pretty dominant by the keyboards, especially early on as it opens up with them and then continues for a fairly lengthy period. And then you have this very catchy, mostly instrumental throughout the album, with some vocals more or less towards the end. A bit of a solemn song at times, but ending with a kind of catchy guitar part. Just a really different track. For an epic song, it's really different than something that you normally get with these epic things. I think this is a strong album. It's currently a number 1. My favorite album, it's going to be a number 1. I think it's headed for masterpiece myself. It really has put this band, who I never thought of much until all of a sudden this album took off. It's really put them in the light for me. And now I want to go and start checking out all the other stuff they have. I'm not sure how many albums they have in total, but there's a picture of most of them right here. Most of the album covers are kind of quirky, different in feel. So this band, I think, is from the Canterbury scene. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will tell me. So there's quite a few in here that I think I would love to own, and I can see myself getting the whole discography. If any of them are even close to this, it's worth having. So this also has 4 bonus tracks. I don't know its name. Is the first bonus track, Alias the Word, previously unreleased track, Aristocracy, another previously unreleased track, both good. It's likely to have the name next week. It's likely to have a name next week, Winter Wine Instrumental. So this is a previously unreleased instrumental of Winter Wine. And then you have the final one, which is Group Girl, first version of Golf Girl. So it's kind of got some different lyrics to it. It's a previously unreleased version of Golf Girl that they just changed from Group Girl to Golf Girl. So yeah, interesting album. Some fantastic stuff going on here. If you like things like actually, there's nothing that really sounds maybe the closest band to this that they remind me of is probably Gentle Giant, just for the quirky instrumentation and all the different stuff. Vocals, I think, are better here. Saying a lot, I've grown to really like the harmony vocals of Gentle Giant quite a bit. So, but this is really good. So it's kind of in that kind of sound set. But I think Gentle Giant's, of course, a lot more instrumentally oriented, but this has a lot more catchy riff to it. Yeah, so very different. If you just give it a listen and give it a try, this one's easy to find on the internet. You can just listen to it and then decide if it's something you want. But I think with an album like this, like Camel, like Hawkwind, all these bands take a little, and King Crimson, Gentle Giant, all these bands take some time to get into, and you got to give them the time. So best to play it for about a month or so, and then if you don't like it after a month, I would then maybe move on. But I wouldn't move on. I would just keep playing it till I did like it. That's the way I see it, and I'm sure you will like this. So, anyways, that's it for tonight's video on a look back at a classic rock album which features Caravans in the Land of Gray and Pink. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell. And if you got any comments about this album or any of the Caravan albums, which one should I get next, is kind of what I'm hinting at here. So if anybody wants to leave any information about that in the comment section below, I would love that. And we will be back next Monday night for another look back at another classic rock album. Take care and good night.